I pushed open the apartment door and felt something inside me snap even before I saw anything. Mira? You home? I called, trying to sound normal. There was a strange silence, the kind that shakes your bones. Then I heard a gasp, low and guilty. I stepped forward and saw them, Amira and Aaron, locked together on the couch like they belonged to each other. I froze. My breath stopped. My heartbeat slammed in my ears until everything else sounded far away. What is this? I asked, but my voice was thin, like it wasn't even mine. Mira jumped up first. Eli, wait, this isn't what it looks like. Aaron followed, pulling his shirt down. Bro, calm down. You're blowing this out of proportion. I laughed, but it wasn't a real laugh. Out of proportion? My girlfriend is in your arms. You want me to calm down? Mira stepped closer. Listen to me. I was upset. You haven't been giving me attention. Aaron was just comforting me. It was a mistake. That's all. A mistake? I repeated. You call this a mistake? Aaron raised his hands. We didn't plan anything, okay? Things just happened. I stared at them, waiting for the truth, for something that didn't feel like a knife turning in my chest. How long has this been going on? Mira shook her head too fast. It hasn't. This was the first time. Aaron avoided my eyes. That told me enough. I felt the air leave my lungs all at once. My chest hurt, sharp and tight, like something inside me was tearing apart. So I'm just supposed to believe whatever you say? I whispered. Mira reached for me. Eli, please. Don't make this bigger. We can fix this. I stepped back. Fix what? The betrayal? The lies? My own brother? Aaron finally looked at me, guilt flickering in his eyes but dying quickly. Look, man, if you weren't so distant all the time, maybe she wouldn't have felt so lonely. My mouth dropped open. So this is my fault now? Mira grabbed Aaron's arm. Stop. Just stop. I felt like I was watching strangers. I didn't recognize their faces anymore. I didn't recognize my own voice when I said, "You two deserve each other." Mira's eyes widened. Don't say that. You don't mean it. I do. I grabbed my jacket from the chair. I didn't take anything else. Not my phone charger, not my keys, not the watch Mira gave me last year. Everything felt dirty now. I walked out the door without looking back, even though my legs felt weak. I didn't know where I was going. I just needed to get away before I broke completely. Outside, the night was cold enough to sting my face. I walked fast at first, then slower as the heaviness settled in my chest. Cars passed. People laughed somewhere in the distance. The world kept moving even though mine had stopped. I found myself talking to no one, my voice cracking. How did this happen? What did I do wrong? I kept replaying the scene. Mira's shocked face. Aaron's excuses. Their voices echoing in my head until I wanted to scream. My vision blurred. I wiped my face and realized I was crying even though I didn't remember starting. I sat on the curb and hugged my knees, trying to breathe. It wasn't supposed to be like this, I whispered. A man walking by glanced at me but didn't stop. Why would he? I was just another broken person on the street. I forced myself to stand again. I walked past stores, streetlights, passing cars, but I wasn't really looking at anything. My mind kept repeating the same question. Why them? Why the two people I trusted most? My steps grew slower until I reached the small park near the river. The bench under the old tree looked empty enough, quiet enough. I sat down and leaned back, feeling the rough wood beneath me. My hands were shaking. My chest still hurt. My head felt heavy, like it was filled with smoke. I closed my eyes and whispered, maybe I deserved it. But even that sounded fake. I didn't know what to believe anymore. I didn't know who I was without Mira or without the trust one had in Aaron. I felt like a hollow version of myself, like something had been ripped out and thrown away. The wind grew colder, pushing against me, but I didn't move. I didn't care. I let the numbness take over. My thoughts slowed. My heartbeat steadied into a dull throb. My eyelids felt too heavy to keep open. I guess this is it, I murmured. I lay down on the bench, pulling my jacket closer around me. The world faded into a blur of darkness and cold. My last thought before I drifted off was simple and painful. My life is over. But sleep didn't come right away. My mind kept replaying their voices like a broken tape. Myra's shaky whisper, "Eli, please listen," mixed with Aaron's harsh, "You're too dramatic." I covered my face with my hands. "Why would you do that to me?" I asked the empty night. No answer came, just the cold wind brushing past me. I tried to breathe slowly, but my chest felt too tight. I imagined facing them again, but the thought made me feel sick. "How long were you lying to me?" I whispered. The city lights flickered across the river. A couple walked by, laughing softly, reminding me of everything I thought I had. "Must be nice," I muttered. "To trust someone." My phone buzzed. I didn't want to look, but I forced myself. "Mira, please come back. We need to talk." "Aaron, stop acting like a child." I stared at the messages until my eyes burned. I typed something, deleted it, then shut the phone off. I didn't want their words in my head anymore. "I'm done," I said, though my voice barely carried. I pulled my jacket tighter and lay down again. The bench was hard and cold, but I didn't care. I just wanted the thoughts to stop. I wanted the pain to quiet down for even a moment. The wind blew again, shaking the branches above me. I closed my eyes. My breathing slowed. The heaviness in my chest stayed, but my body grew too tired to fight it. "Maybe tomorrow will hurt less," I whispered. I doubted it, but it was the only hope I had left. Even as I drifted, one last thought cut through everything, sharp and unforgiving. "I gave them everything," I murmured, "and they left me with nothing." The truth of it stung, but I couldn't deny it. My world had collapsed in a single night, and I didn't know how to rebuild it. I didn't know if I even wanted to. All I could do was breathe, hurt, and hope that somehow the next sunrise wouldn't break me even more. I whispered, hoping fate had mercy left for me. Finally, exhaustion pulled me under, and I let myself slip into darkness. I woke up with a pounding headache and the smell of rain in my hair. My body ached, every joint screaming. "Where am I?" I whispered, sitting up slowly. My surroundings were blurry, the streets wet and empty. I remembered the bench, the cold, the wind cutting through me. But then a flash of the apartment, the last thing I'd seen, burned in my mind. Mira, Aaron, their faces, laughing like I was invisible. My chest tightened again. "Shit," I muttered. "This can't be real." I tried to move, but my legs felt heavier than lead. I stumbled toward the street, blinking through the downpour. Cars splashed past. People ran by under umbrellas, looking alive. I felt hollow. I need help, I said, but no one stopped. No one even looked at me. A voice, distant and soft, floated in my head. Eli. I froze. Who's there? I called, but only the rain answered. My throat ached, my voice useless. I wanted someone, anyone, to tell me I was okay. My memories of the apartment replayed. Myra's wide-eyed panic, Aaron's shrug like I was overreacting, their excuses spilling out. I clenched my fists. Why? Why did you both do this to me? I tried to take a deep breath and stand upright, but everything tilted. The world spun violently. My stomach turned over. Not now, not like this, I groaned. I felt my knees buckle. My hands grabbed the nearest pole, shaking. I wanted to scream, to rage at them, to rip everything apart, but the energy wasn't there. A car horn blared too close. I looked up just in time to see headlights screaming toward me. No, no, no. I yelled, lunging out of the way. But the wet pavement betrayed me. My foot slipped, my arms flailed, and I felt a sharp pain shoot through my side. My head hit the asphalt. Everything went white. I heard voices, distant, distorted, like underwater. Call an ambulance. Someone help him. The sound was far away, muffled. I tried to move, but I couldn't. My body refused to obey. My chest felt like it was caving in. Please, not like this, I croaked. My mind swirled with fragments of anger and grief. Myra's voice, Aaron's smug shrug, my parents' faces. I remembered all the things I had lost. Everything. I didn't deserve this, I whispered. I didn't deserve any of it. Pain surged through me again, and I couldn't hold on to the thought. My eyes fluttered closed. The voices faded. The street, the rain, the headlights, all dissolved. A strange warmth replaced the cold. I felt weightless, like I was floating in empty space. No pain, no fear, just silence. And then a voice, calm and certain, cut through the void. Eli. I blinked, confused. Who's there? You've been given a second chance, it said. But only if you're willing to see it. I tried to speak. Second chance. My mind refused to understand. I don't get it. You are not done, the voice interrupted. Your story isn't over. My heartbeat, if I even had one, slowed. Confusion clashed with disbelief. I died. I was gone. I felt it. My voice cracked. What do you mean? This is your chance to fix what was broken. To face them with the knowledge of what's coming. I shivered. Knowledge. You mean I can go back? Yes, the voice said softly. But it won't be easy. Pain will follow. Betrayal will still exist. You will see it, but now you can change everything. I closed my eyes, trying to process it. A rush of memories flooded back, every argument I ignored, every slight I took lightly, every moment I trusted blindly. Myra's smile when she hid the truth, Aaron's jealousy in the background, all of it flashing like a film reel. I have to go back? I whispered, feeling the weight of it settle over me. Yes, the voice said. And when you do, choose wisely. A sudden pull gripped me, like I was being yanked through water. My stomach dropped. I wanted to scream, but no sound came. Darkness wrapped around me, pressing on my chest. Then, light. I woke up again, in my bedroom. My eyes snapped open. Everything was the same. My desk, my bed, the posters on the wall, all familiar. I grabbed my phone. The date stared back at me, 1 year ago. 1 year before the night that shattered my life. I stumbled to the mirror. My reflection looked exactly the same, yet I felt different, like a layer of me had been stripped away. I touched my chest. My heart was racing, but it was alive. My lungs filled with air like I'd never breathed before. This is real, I whispered. I'm back. My hands shook as I clenched them into fists. I can change everything. I have to. I won't let them hurt me again. I sat on the edge of the bed, trying to steady myself. Every thought from the previous night burned inside me. Mira, Aaron, the betrayal. They thought they could destroy me, I muttered. But now it's my turn to control my life. I ran my hands through my hair. I have to be smarter. I have to be stronger. My voice hardened with determination. No more being blind. No more trusting them blindly. I see it now. I know their lies. I know their weaknesses. A tear slipped down my cheek, but it wasn't from sadness. It was relief, anger, and the sudden weight of purpose. I'll make it right, I promised myself. I'll survive. I stopped mid-sentence. Fear clawed at my chest. I'll have to be careful, I whispered. One wrong move, and everything could fall apart again. I rose from the bed and looked out the window. The city lights flickered like they always did. Nothing else had changed, but everything had. I clenched my fists tighter. I can do this, I told my reflection. I will do this. And one day, they'll regret the day they betrayed me. I sat down again, planning silently. Every step, every choice, every move from here on out had to be perfect. I replayed every memory of that night, every word, every glance, every lie. I won't fail, I whispered. Not this time. Outside, the rain started again, soft and steady. But this time, I didn't feel cold. I felt alive. I felt ready. My chest ached from the memories, but it was a different ache now, a fire, a push forward. I'm back, I murmured. And I'm not the same Eli they left behind. For the first time in a long time, I smiled, small, sharp, determined. I didn't know how the future would unfold, but I knew one thing. I was awake. I was alive. And nothing would break me again. I woke up with the sunlight hitting my face, warm and blinding, but something felt off. My room, it was exactly the same as I remembered, but earlier. The calendar on my wall showed the date. I blinked hard. No, this can't be real. I scrambled out of bed, my hands shaking. My phone. I grabbed it and stared at the screen. The date stared back, January 19th. 1 year ago. My chest tightened, and I staggered back. Wait. I'm back? I whispered. I sat on the edge of the bed, trying to steady my racing heartbeat. This isn't a dream, right? I muttered. I touched my cheek. The sensation was real. I pinched myself. Pain. Okay, definitely not a dream, I said, voice trembling. My reflection in the mirror stared back at me, wide-eyed and terrified. Eli, you got a second chance, I whispered to myself. They won't get to hurt me again. I paced the room, replaying everything. Mira, Aaron, the betrayal, the apartment, the bench, the rain. The anger boiled up again. I can't let them win this time, I muttered. Not ever. I went to the kitchen, grabbed some water, and leaned against the counter. My mind raced. Okay, plan. First step, observe. Learn. Don't rush. They think I'm the same gullible idiot. I shook my head. Not anymore. Never again. The phone buzzed. A message from Mira. Hey, wanna meet later? I froze. My hands tightened around the counter. Are you kidding me? I whispered. I typed, not today. Deleted it. Typed again, I can't. Deleted again. I finally left it unsent. She didn't need my attention right now. Not ever. I left my apartment under the pretense of going for a walk. I needed to see them. I needed to test the waters. As I walked, the cold air hit me, but it felt good this time, like it was waking me up. Focus, Eli. Watch. Learn. Prepare, I muttered to myself. I passed by Aaron's apartment. Nothing. Quiet. Too quiet. My chest clenched. Good. Keep them distracted. Let them think nothing's changed. I walked faster, keeping my head down, listening for voices, for movement, for signs of betrayal. Later that afternoon, I ran into Lena at the cafe. She smiled. Eli. Hey, I was wondering if you were coming today. I forced a smile. Yeah, just busy. My mind was spinning, but I kept my tone casual. How have you been? She shrugged. Same old. You seemed different lately. Something on your mind? I chuckled lightly. Nothing. Just thinking. Life stuff. I watched her carefully, gauging her reaction. She tilted her head. You've got that look. The one that says I'm plotting something. I laughed, a little too sharp. Maybe I am. Her eyes narrowed playfully. That's intriguing. I left the cafe and walked the streets, recalling everything I remembered from my previous life. Every lie, every sneer, every fake smile from Mira and Aaron. My fists clenched. I can't confront them yet. Not until I'm ready. Not until I can control everything, I muttered. I stopped at a shop, watching a couple argue playfully. A pang of jealousy hit me. Not for them, but for what I'd lost. I'll never let them take that from me again, I whispered. Not the trust. Not the happiness. Not my life. I returned home and sat on my bed, drafting plans in my mind. Small changes first. I would act distant. I would ignore their messages. I would watch. Gather information. Build my strength. Everything I lost. I'm taking back, I said firmly. My phone buzzed again. Mira, can we talk? Please? I stared at it. For a second, I almost replied, almost. But no. Not today. Not ever. I locked the phone. Patience, I whispered. Control. Observation. One step at a time. I remembered the apartment, that night, the cold bench, the betrayal. The pain surged again, but this time it fueled me. I won't break again, I said, voice shaking but determined. They'll see the Eli they underestimated, but it won't be the same. It'll be stronger. Smarter. Untouchable. I made my way to the gym. Training, physical strength, mental focus. I ran, lifted, pushed myself until I was gasping, sweaty, trembling, but alive. If I'm going to survive this, I can't just be smarter. I have to be better. Stronger. Faster. Ready for everything, I muttered between sets. Afterward, I walked home, drenched in sweat but feeling a strange satisfaction. Lena's smile flashed in my memory. She had always tried to help me before. I had ignored her. Now, I considered seeking her guidance, her insight. Maybe. I won't be completely alone this time, I whispered. At the apartment, I paused at the door. Mira and Aaron didn't know yet. They were blind, unprepared. And for the first time, I felt a flicker of power. They'll regret underestimating me, I said, pressing my palm against the door. They'll regret everything. Inside, I walked through my apartment, touching familiar objects, each one a reminder of my past failures. Not anymore, I said softly. Every memory, every mistake. I'll use it. I'll turn it into a weapon. I sat at my desk, opening my laptop. Emails, messages, everything I had saved from before. I began tracking them, noting patterns, recalling secrets. Patience, observation, preparation, I muttered. I'll know everything before they even realize it. My phone buzzed once more. Mira, I miss you. Please, I stared, unread. My chest tightened, not with pain this time, but anticipation. I had time. I had control. I could wait. I could watch. I leaned back in my chair, closing my eyes. 1 year, 1 chance. I can fix this. I'll be ready. I'll survive. And they'll pay. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday. I opened my eyes. A new resolve burned in them. I felt sharper, clearer, alive in a way I hadn't before. I wasn't just reborn. I was awakened. And the world, or at least, Mira and Aaron, would never underestimate me again. Tomorrow, I whispered, I start for real. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the apartment. I didn't feel fear, didn't feel despair. Only the steady, burning certainty that I had been given a second chance, and I would not waste it. This was my rebirth. My life, my rules, my power. Mira and Aaron would see the Eli they thought was weak, and they would regret it. And I would be ready. I walked into the office that morning and kept my head down, pretending to be the same Eli I was last year, the quiet, gullible one Mira and Aaron thought they could manipulate. My heart was hammering, but my face was calm, unreadable. Hey, Eli. Morning, a coworker called. I nodded, not really seeing them. My thoughts were elsewhere. Myra's laugh, Aaron's shrug, that sickening smile they shared on the couch, it kept looping in my head. I made it to my desk and pulled out my laptop. Emails, projects, schedules, they were all the same, but I wasn't the same. I had knowledge now, and with knowledge came power. A soft voice interrupted my thoughts. Eli? You okay? Lena leaned against the cubicle wall. Her hair was messy, her cheeks flushed from rushing. I forced a smile. Yeah, just tired. Early morning, you know. She frowned. You've been different lately. I can't put my finger on it, but, she trailed off, eyes sharp. Something's changed. Maybe, I said, keeping my voice light. Or maybe you're imagining it. She smirked. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just finally noticing the real Eli. I froze for a second, surprised. She had always been kind, patient, overlooked, but now I realized how observant she was. You notice a lot, huh? I said. She shrugged, a little embarrassed. Someone has to. Especially around people who hide too much. I laughed softly. You might be right. My mind drifted for a second. Mira. Aaron. Hiding. Lying. Pretending. And I wasn't. Not anymore. By lunchtime, I decided to test Mira. She slid into the cafeteria with that effortless smile she always used. Eli. Mind if I join you? She asked, plopping into the seat across from me. I looked at her carefully, letting the calm, distant mask I'd perfected fall into place. Sure, I said, voice neutral. She leaned in, whispering conspiratorially, You've been so quiet lately. Is something wrong? I raised an eyebrow. No. Everything's fine. Just thinking. Her smile faltered slightly. Thinking about me? I tilted my head and smiled faintly, but not the same way I used to. Not particularly. Thinking about life, work, things like that. She blinked, confusion flashing across her face. You're different. Did something happen? I shrugged. Nothing you need to worry about. Her eyes narrowed for a moment, then softened. You know, I've been feeling neglected. I thought maybe we could spend more time together. I laughed, a little too light, but controlled. Maybe you should talk to Aaron about that. He seems to have more time for you. She stiffened. What's that supposed to mean? I leaned back casually. Just an observation. You two seem close. Myra's cheeks went pink, but not with embarrassment. Anger. That was new. And satisfying. I don't know what you mean, she stammered. Aaron and I? I held up a hand. Save it. I'm not interested in explanations right now. I smiled faintly, letting the silence stretch. She squirmed. Finally, she left. I exhaled quietly. That was easier than expected, I muttered to myself. Later, Aaron stopped by my desk, casual as ever. Hey, man. Everything cool? Yeah, fine, I said. My voice was flat, calm. Not the defensive, naive tone he was used to. Aaron leaned in, lowering his voice. Listen. I know you're upset about stuff. I just want you to know I never meant. I cut him off. Aaron. I'm not upset. Not anymore. Just observing. His eyes flicked up, narrowing slightly. Observing? What do you mean? I smiled faintly. I mean, I'm noticing things. Patterns. Connections. Secrets. Everything you think you can hide. He laughed nervously. Eli, you're overthinking. Maybe, I said, voice calm, almost teasing. Or maybe I'm finally awake. His confident posture faltered for a moment. Then he straightened and laughed harder, trying to mask it. You always were dramatic. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The silence spoke louder than words. He left, his face pale the last time I glanced at him. Victory tastes quiet, but I could feel it burning. Back at my apartment that evening, I reviewed everything I remembered from the previous life. Myra's lies, Aaron's manipulation, every argument, every excuse. I wrote down patterns, small inconsistencies, things I could use later. Patience, I whispered. Observation. Control. I unlocked my phone and saw texts from Mira. Eli, why are you ignoring me? Please talk. I stared at them, thumb hovering over the screen. I didn't respond. Not yet. Not until I was ready. I remembered what had happened last year. The betrayal. The pain. I clenched my fists. Not this time, I said. You'll see. You'll both see. A knock at the door startled me. Lena peeked in, shy but determined. Hey. I thought I'd check on you. You seemed distant lately. I smiled softly. Thanks, Lena. I'm handling things. She stepped inside, cautiously. If you need someone to talk to. I'm here. I nodded, appreciating her presence. I might take you up on that, later. But for now, observation comes first. She smiled faintly. Fair enough. Just, don't shut everyone out. Not forever. I watched her leave and felt a strange warmth. Lena wasn't part of the betrayal. She was different. Reliable. Honest. For now, she was someone I could trust. I sat down at my desk and opened my laptop. Emails, work schedules, contacts, everything I needed to track. I started noting Myra's patterns, Aaron's habits, minor interactions, anything that could give me leverage. Step by step, I whispered. Patience, Eli. Patience and observation. By the time night fell, I felt a strange satisfaction. I had taken the first steps. I had shown them the mask, the calm distance that would confuse them, make them uneasy. They thought I was the same, but I was already different. I checked Myra's social media quietly. Nothing new, yet. But soon. Soon, she would slip. Aaron would show his true colors. And I would be ready. I leaned back in my chair, exhausted but alive. I'm not the same Eli they left behind, I said softly. I'll survive. I'll control this life. And they won't know what hit them. The city lights flickered outside the window. I watched the shadows stretch across the room. Every step I took, every plan I made, every lie I observed, it was all building toward something. Revenge? Control? Maybe both. I whispered, more to myself than anyone else, one day, they'll realize how wrong they were to underestimate me. And by then, it will be too late. I closed my laptop and leaned back. The mask was on. Calm. Detached. Patient. Observant. Mira and Aaron didn't know yet. They couldn't see it. And that was the first advantage I had in this new life. I felt the fire inside me ignite, controlled but steady. I wasn't angry in the same helpless way as last time. Now, I had purpose. I had a plan. And I had time. Tomorrow, I whispered, eyes glinting with determination. I watch. I wait. And I grow stronger. And they'll beg for mercy one day. But not yet. Not yet. I turned off the lights and went to bed, but sleep didn't feel like an escape anymore. It was a preparation. A pause before the storm I was about to unleash. I wasn't running from the pain this time. I was learning from it. And when the time came, they would see me, truly see me, for the first time. I left my apartment that morning with a purpose I hadn't felt in years. The city seemed the same, but I wasn't. Everything from last year, every betrayal, every lie, was etched into my mind, and now I had a plan. I wasn't rushing. I wasn't reacting. I was preparing. I spotted Mira at the cafe, laughing with her friends. My chest tightened, but not with the same hopeless pain as before. I approached slowly, pretending to be distracted. Eli. You're here, she exclaimed, hopping out of her seat. I forced a casual smile. Morning, Mira. She tilted her head. You're quiet today. Something wrong? I shrugged, keeping my tone neutral. Nothing. Just thinking. She narrowed her eyes. Thinking about me? I laughed lightly. Not particularly. Life, work, things like that. Her smile faltered slightly. You're different. I can feel it. I leaned against the counter, letting the casual air linger. Maybe. Or maybe I just notice things now. Myra's eyes flickered, caught off guard. I could see it. A tiny crack in her confident mask. Notice things? What do you mean? I smiled faintly. Patterns. Behavior. Habits. Little inconsistencies. Things you think I never saw before. Her lips pressed together. She opened her mouth, then shut it again. I left her with that unease and walked out, letting the silence speak. Outside, I exhaled slowly. The first small victory felt sharp and sweet. I was testing the waters, making them uneasy, letting them underestimate me for now. That would be crucial. Later, I trailed Aaron to his work. He didn't see me, he never did when I wanted him not to. I watched him charm clients, take credit for others' work, spread subtle rumors. My lips curled into a faint smile. You never change, I muttered. Same arrogance. Same lies. Same little brother who thinks he can outsmart me. I noted everything in my mind, mentally cataloging every weakness. Observation first, I whispered. Patience. Control. After work, I returned to my apartment and started organizing my plans. Small actions first. I couldn't rush. Every step had to be precise. I began by checking messages from last year, recalling secrets, remembering every careless slip they had made. Myra's lies, Aaron's manipulation, every detail would be useful. The next day, I saw Mira alone at a bookstore. I approached, calm. Fancy seeing you here, I said lightly. She stiffened. Eli, you're everywhere. Are you following me? I smiled faintly. Just a coincidence. I like bookstores. Her eyes narrowed. Sure. She glanced at me, uncertain, and I knew it. My calm, distant demeanor was working. She was starting to feel the first hints of fear, or at least hesitation. You've been different, she said finally, lowering her voice. I don't know what's going on, but you're changed. I let a small, confident smirk appear. Maybe I've just woken up. Her lips parted slightly, and I could see the panic rising. Woken up? Yes. I see things now. I notice patterns. I understand motives. I don't miss details anymore. She swallowed hard, her confidence slipping. Eli, you're scaring me. I leaned closer, quietly. Good. Later, I ran into Aaron at a local gym. He grinned when he saw me. Eli. You joined the gym? Didn't know you were into fitness. I smiled faintly, masking my purpose. Decided to change things up. New me. He laughed, but there was an edge to it. Good for you. Maybe you'll finally keep up. I shook my head. I've been keeping up. Just not showing it. He raised an eyebrow. Not showing it? I leaned back, casual. You'll see soon enough. His confident grin faltered slightly, though he tried to hide it. That tiny flicker of doubt, perfect. Just what I needed. By evening, I returned to my apartment, reviewing every small interaction from the day. Myra's nervous glances, Aaron's shaky confidence, their little tells, they were starting to crumble, even if they didn't realize it yet. I opened my laptop and began compiling evidence, screenshots, messages, and notes from last year. I needed proof, leverage, something I could use at the right moment. Everything they think is hidden, isn't, I whispered. My phone buzzed. Mira, please talk to me. We need to fix this. I didn't reply. Not now. Not ever, unless it suited me. Aaron's texts came next, don't ignore me. Stop being dramatic. I smiled faintly. I had all the drama I needed, on my terms. I poured a glass of water, thinking. One step at a time, I muttered. Observe. Gather. Prepare. When the moment comes, they won't know what hit them. The next morning, I called a meeting with a few key colleagues under the guise of teamwork. I subtly highlighted Aaron's past errors, pointing out inconsistencies in reports. He tried to correct me, flustered. Eli, that's not fair. I fixed that. I smiled lightly. Did you? Or did I just notice it now? Other colleagues glanced between us, curious. Aaron's face tightened, his confidence cracking just enough for me to see it. I didn't need to say more. Let them stew in doubt and shame. The seeds of revenge had been planted. Later, Mira stopped by my desk. Eli, what did you do to Aaron? I raised an eyebrow, calm. Nothing. Just observing. And noticing. Her face paled slightly. Observing? Yes. I notice everything now. I let the words hang in the air. She clenched her hands, flustered, and finally left, muttering under her breath. I exhaled slowly. This was the start. Small victories, tiny cracks, subtle manipulation. They didn't even know I was awake, aware, ready. But soon the pieces would fall into place. I sat at my desk late that night, reviewing my plans, going over every conversation, every interaction, every lie. I won't miss a single detail, I whispered. Every weakness, every fear, every hidden secret, mine to use when the time is right. A soft knock startled me. Lena peeked in. You're still at it? I looked up, smiling faintly. Someone has to stay ahead. She stepped in, hesitant. Just, don't let it consume you. Revenge isn't everything. I leaned back. I know. But control is. And if they've hurt me, I'll take it back on my terms. She nodded slowly, understanding, but not fully aware of the extent of my plan. Just, be careful, Eli. I smiled faintly. Always. Alone, I checked Mira and Aaron one last time for the night. Both were anxious, subtly panicked, unaware that I had already started turning the tables. Every flinch, every pause, every worried glance, they were giving me what I needed. Power. Control. Advantage. I leaned back in my chair, exhausted but exhilarated. The night felt alive, charged with anticipation. The seeds of revenge had been planted, and soon I would watch them grow. And when the moment came, I would be ready. Mira and Aaron would realize, too late, that the Eli they thought was weak, was gone. replaced by someone they couldn't control, couldn't hurt, couldn't escape. Tomorrow, I whispered, staring at the city lights outside my window, they'll start paying attention. And I'll make sure they regret underestimating me. The fire inside me burned steadily now. Controlled, patient, silent, but unstoppable. They had no idea what was coming. I saw them first in the lobby, Mira laughing softly at something Aaron said. My chest tightened, but this time it wasn't pain, it was focus. Observation. Control. I stepped forward casually, like nothing had changed, like I hadn't spent an entire year planning for this moment. Eli. Mira exclaimed, her voice light but strained. I smiled faintly, letting the calm mask settle into place. Hey, Mira. Aaron's head snapped toward me. His confident grin faltered slightly, replaced by caution. Oh, hey. Didn't expect to see you here. Surprise, I said lightly. My tone calm, neutral. Not a hint of the anger I had felt before. I needed to pick up some documents. Mira shifted nervously. Documents? Yes. Important ones. I let the words hang. She glanced at Aaron, then back at me, unsure. That hesitation, it was exactly what I wanted. Aaron stepped closer, lowering his voice. Listen, Eli, about last year. I raised a hand casually. Aaron. Not now. Not the apologies. I'm just observing. His eyes flicked up, suspicious. Observing? Yes. Noticing patterns. Watching behavior. Things you think I don't see. Myra's lips parted slightly. Eli, what are you talking about? I smiled faintly, leaning against the wall. I'm awake now. And you too, well, you should know things won't go the way they used to. Aaron laughed nervously. What does that even mean? I shrugged, calm. You'll see. Myra's hands clenched slightly, and Aaron's posture stiffened. That subtle shift, tiny cracks forming in their confident facade, made my chest tighten with satisfaction. I wasn't angry this time. I was patient. Later, at the cafeteria, I deliberately chose a table near them. Myra's eyes widened, Aaron's jaw tightened when he saw me sitting down calmly, reviewing notes on my laptop. Mira leaned toward Aaron, whispering. He's different. Something's changed. Aaron glanced at me, voice low. Calm down. Don't let him see that you're worried. I smiled faintly to myself. They didn't even know I could hear them. Observation, patience, control. That was my power. A few minutes later, Mira approached. Eli, you're acting strange. What's going on? I looked up casually, eyes steady. Nothing. Just noticing things. Noticing things? Her voice rose slightly, betraying nerves. Yes. Your behavior. Aaron's behavior. Patterns. Little tells. You're sloppy. Her face paled. Sloppy? I don't understand. Aaron finally came over, forcing a smile. Eli, don't start. You're overthinking everything. I leaned back, relaxed, letting the silence stretch. Am I? Or have I finally started paying attention? He stiffened. Paying attention? What are you talking about? I shrugged, calm. I notice everything now. Every lie, every excuse, every slip-up. You think you can hide things from me? You can't. Myra's voice trembled slightly. Eli, stop. You're scaring me. Good. I let the word float between us. A single word, calm, controlled, but heavy. Later that day, I ran into Aaron in the hallway. Eli, we should talk, he said cautiously. Talk about what? I asked, masking my smirk. You know, about last year. I shook my head slowly. Not interested. But I am interested in observing. And learning. And I'm noticing things about you, every little detail. He frowned. Observing? Learning? Yes. Every word, every action, every glance. You think you're clever, Aaron. But now, I see it all. He laughed nervously. You're acting paranoid. Maybe, I said lightly. Or maybe I'm awake. And when you're awake, nothing escapes you. Not lies, not secrets, not manipulation. Aaron's confident posture wavered slightly. That subtle falter, the first crack in his armor, made my chest tighten with satisfaction. That night, Mira texted, please. Eli. I don't know what's happening. Talk to me. I stared at the message and didn't reply. Not yet. Patience. Control. Observation. I had all the time in the world. Aaron's text came next. Stop acting like a child. We need to resolve this. I smiled faintly. Drama on my terms, not theirs. I didn't reply. Not today. Not yet. The next morning, I confronted Mira in the parking lot. You think I forgot everything, don't you? I asked softly. She stiffened. I don't know what you mean. I remember, I said calmly. Every lie, every excuse, every smile you hid behind. I remember it all. And now, I'm awake. Her eyes widened, fear flickering. Eli, you're different. Yes. I see things now. I notice patterns. I understand motives. And I don't miss details anymore. She swallowed hard, voice trembling. Eli. I didn't mean. I raised a hand. Save it. I'm not interested in your explanations. I'm interested in observation. In control. And you're already showing cracks. Aaron appeared, drawn by her voice. Eli, enough. You're overreacting. I turned to him, calm and steady. Overreacting? Or finally awake? You two have been hiding behind lies for too long. And now, it's my turn. Aaron's confident grin faltered, replaced by doubt. Myra's hands trembled slightly. That subtle fear, it was exactly what I wanted. Observation first, I whispered to myself. Patience. Control. One step at a time. Later, alone in my apartment, I reviewed the day. Myra's fearful glances, Aaron's faltering confidence, their tiny cracks, they were revealing themselves to me without me needing to push. The seeds of revenge were growing. I smiled faintly. They think I'm the same Eli they left behind. Weak. Gullible. Naive. But they don't know. I'm awake. I see everything. And I won't miss a single detail. I checked the clock. Midnight. Time to rest. But sleep wasn't escape anymore, it was preparation. Observation. Planning. Each day, each interaction, each slip from them brought me closer to the moment when they would realize, too late, that the Eli they betrayed was gone. And I would be ready. I woke up that morning with a sense of purpose that had nothing to do with them and everything to do with me. I'd spent months preparing, learning, observing, but now it was time to focus on improving myself. I started with work. My projects were meticulous, calculated, and flawless. Every small error from Aaron's past I'd noticed last year, I corrected silently, leaving him exposed in subtle ways. "Eli, you're killing it on this project," my manager said, leaning over my desk. "Aaron, well, he's been sloppy lately. I don't know what's going on with him." I smiled faintly, masking satisfaction. "Maybe he's distracted," I said casually. "Distracted," my manager repeated, frowning. Could be. Keep up the good work, Eli. Really impressive." I nodded, calm. Observation first, control second, action last. Aaron would feel the consequences without me lifting a finger. At the gym, I pushed myself harder than ever. Sweat poured, muscles burned, lungs ached, but I thrived. Every inch stronger, I muttered to myself. Every mistake I didn't make before, I make up for now. Lena called that evening. "Hey, you've been MIA," she said softly. "Are you okay?" I smiled, genuinely this time. "I'm better than okay. I'm awake. Anne. I have things to handle." She paused. "You sound focused. Like you're planning something." "Maybe I am," I admitted lightly. "But not against anyone you'd care about." She laughed softly. "Good to hear. Just, don't push yourself too hard, okay?" "I won't," I promised. And I meant it. For once, someone reminded me there was life outside of revenge. Meanwhile, Aaron was already faltering. I noticed it at work, small mistakes he usually wouldn't make, missed deadlines, slip-ups in front of clients. A whispered warning from our manager reached him, quiet but unmistakable. "Aaron, I'm counting on you," the manager said softly. "Don't let this happen again." Aaron nodded, forced a smile, but I could see the panic flickering beneath it. Yes, of course," he muttered. Later, I overheard Mira at a restaurant, laughing nervously with a coworker. "I didn't think anyone would notice," she said, fiddling with her cup. "Notice what?" her coworker asked. "Nothing, just life," she said, brushing it off. But I heard her. The lies, the half-truths, the manipulations, they were catching up to her. She was slipping. I didn't confront her. I didn't need to. Observation and timing were my allies. I walked away, leaving her to fumble her words, her confidence cracking in small, satisfying ways. As days passed, I stopped seeing both of them. No more casual greetings, no more encounters. I focused on building myself, my strength, my mind, and my network. Lena became my anchor, her presence calm, honest, grounding me in a life that wasn't consumed by revenge, even as I prepared it. One evening, Lena and I sat on my balcony, the city lights glowing below. "You're different," she said softly. "Calm, controlled. I like it. But I also feel fire in you. Careful it doesn't consume you." I smiled faintly, watching the wind ripple her hair. "It won't. Fire needs direction, control, and purpose. That's what I have now." She nodded. "I trust you. Just promise me you'll stay you, not just someone you think you have to be." "I promise," I said. And I meant it. Lena was my stability, my reminder that not all bonds were built on lies or betrayal. Meanwhile, Aaron and Mira, blinded by arrogance, began secretly dating. They thought they were clever, that no one could notice. They whispered in corners, exchanged sly glances, and laughed behind closed doors. I observed silently. Patience. Control. Timing. Let them think they were untouchable. And then the moment came. I started subtly, sending carefully compiled information to the right people, family, coworkers, without saying a single word, without lying once. Screenshots, messages, patterns they had left exposed themselves. The fallout began quietly, then escalated. My parents called first. Aaron. Mira, what is this? My father demanded, voice sharp with disbelief. Dad, it's not what it looks like. Mira stammered. Not what it looks like, my mother snapped. Do you think we're fools? All the lies, the hidden meetings, the sneaking around? Aaron opened his mouth. It's Myra's fault, she. She? Mira shot back, eyes wide. Don't blame me, Aaron. You. The room erupted. My parents were furious, their voices rising, shock and betrayal mixing. Aaron's confident posture crumbled, Myra's smug mask shattered. I stayed quiet, watching from my apartment window across the street. Observation. Control. The seeds I had planted were sprouting. In the office, whispers started. Colleagues exchanged knowing glances, subtle judgment forming around Aaron and Mira. Their reputation, carefully maintained for months, began to crack. Aaron blamed Mira for every misstep. You did this. You told them. Mira snapped back. Me? Don't twist this. You were sloppy. You left traces. I smiled faintly. The cracks widened between them, splitting the foundation of their arrogance. Lena called that evening. Are you okay? She asked softly. I am, I said, calm. Finally. I watched, waited, and now, the consequences are starting. They'll crumble under their own lies. You're satisfied? She asked cautiously. I'm focused, I corrected. Satisfaction will come later. For now, patience and observation. Later, Aaron called Mira, desperate, panicked. We need to fix this. We can't let them find out more. Myra's voice trembled. Aaron, it's too late. They know. Everyone knows. I overheard fragments through mutual friends' posts, subtle hints of gossip spreading. Their web of lies, built on arrogance and secrecy, was collapsing, and all without a single word from me. I leaned back, hands clasped, letting the fire inside me burn quietly. They thought they were clever. They thought they were untouchable. But I didn't have to lift a finger. Their own choices brought them down. I checked my phone. Texts from Aaron and Mira, urgent, pleading, confused. I ignored them. Not yet. Timing mattered. Lena texted, I'm proud of you. But don't let this consume your life. Remember, you're more than revenge. I smiled softly. I know. And I'm ready for the next steps. I glanced out the window again. The city lights flickered below. The stage was set. Aaron and Mira were unraveling. My parents' anger had ignited, coworkers were whispering, their reputations cracking from all sides. And I was calm, focused, patient. The first cracks had appeared. The seeds of their downfall had taken root. And I knew, deep down, that the harvest was coming. I woke to the soft hum of my apartment, the morning sun spilling across the floor. Everything felt different. I had watched, waited, and their cracks had grown wide. Aaron and Mira didn't realize it yet, but karma was settling over them, quiet, inevitable, unstoppable. My phone buzzed. A string of messages from Aaron. Eli, please. Talk to me. We can fix this. I stared at the screen and didn't reply. Not yet. Patience was my weapon, timing my ally. Mira followed shortly. I swear it's not what you think. Just let me explain. I smiled faintly. Let them hang themselves with their own lies, I thought. No intervention needed. By mid-morning, I was at the office. Aaron's name was already on people's lips. Small murmurs, subtle glances, judgments forming without me even having to speak. He passed me in the hallway, confident mask on, but I caught the tension in his shoulders. Eli, he muttered, voice low, almost pleading. We need to talk. Now. I looked at him calmly. Observe first, I said quietly. Control second. Action comes later. He frowned, confused, frustrated. What does that even mean? I shrugged, light and neutral. It means things will unfold as they should. Watch closely. Learn. Aaron's jaw tightened. He didn't like not being in control. Mira, meanwhile, tried to approach me at my desk. Eli. I need to explain, she said, voice shaky. Observation, I replied softly, eyes never leaving my screen. And patience. Her cheeks flushed. She glanced at Aaron, who was watching from across the room, a flicker of fear in his eyes. I smiled faintly. They were cornered by their own mistakes. During lunch, Lena appeared beside me, sliding into the seat. You're calm, she said softly, watching the subtle chaos unfold around us. I've learned patience, I said lightly. And that control beats emotion every time. Observe, understand, then act. That's all I'm doing now. She nodded, her expression serious. You're doing it right, but don't let it consume you. I won't, I promised. I know where to draw the line. But they need to face the consequences of their actions. Later, whispers reached me of Aaron's meetings being scrutinized, emails traced, every minor slip highlighted. He tried to deny it, to cover, to explain, but every word only made the cracks wider. I watched quietly, satisfied, as Myra's social reputation faltered too. Colleagues whispered, clients questioned her reliability. One by one, her lies surfaced, tiny but telling, exposing patterns she couldn't hide anymore. I didn't need to speak. I didn't need to lie. Their downfall was theirs alone. I overheard Aaron and Mira arguing near the parking lot later that day. You dragged me into this. Aaron hissed, face red. You think this is my fault? Mira snapped back. You were sloppy. You left traces. You didn't think anyone would notice? Aaron's voice broke slightly. I trusted you. I trusted you too. Mira shot back. But you're a fool. I watched from a distance, hidden, letting their arrogance crumble. Each accusation, each falter, widened the cracks in their alliance. By evening, my parents called. My mother's voice was sharp. Aaron. Mira. How could you? It's not, Mira started. Don't you dare blame anyone else, my father thundered. We trusted you both. Aaron stammered. It wasn't supposed to. You've destroyed trust, my mother snapped. And for what? Lies, manipulation, secrets? I leaned back in my chair at home, watching the fallout, a quiet smile on my lips. Karma was doing its work. I hadn't needed to speak, to threaten, to lie. Observation and patience had sufficed. The next day, at the office, I saw Aaron's confident facade crack completely. Emails he had sent were misinterpreted, past sloppiness exposed, and whispered judgments followed him wherever he went. Mira fared no better. Colleagues avoided her, clients questioned her reliability, and subtle ridicule spread quietly but effectively. I caught Lena in the hallway. "They're unraveling," I whispered, almost in awe. She nodded. "I can see that. It's satisfying, but be careful. Don't let this become who you are." "It won't," I reassured her. "I'm awake, aware, and I have control. That's all." That evening, I walked past Myra's apartment building. I saw her through the window, pacing, phone in hand, talking to Aaron. Their conversation was frantic, full of blame, panic, and desperation. "You should have covered this," Mira yelled. "You didn't manage it," Aaron shot back. "I trusted you," she snapped. "And I trusted you," he bellowed, slamming his hand on the table. I walked past, unseen, letting their discord echo behind me. Observation. Timing. Control. The seeds I had planted were growing, thriving, and it had cost me nothing but patience. Back home, Lena and I sat on the balcony again, city lights glowing below. She sighed softly. "You've changed. This isn't just about them anymore. You've grown, stronger, smarter. But be careful, you can't go back if you lose yourself in this." "I haven't," I said softly, resting my hands on the railing. "I've just learned. Observed. Waited. They're facing the consequences of their own choices, nothing more." She smiled faintly. "I hope you're right." I leaned back, staring at the skyline. My parents' anger had flared, Aaron and Myra's relationship was crumbling, and the whispers at work continued to grow. Their reputations were fractured, their alliance unstable, and their confidence shattered. And all I had done was watch. Later that night, I checked the texts again. "Aaron, Eli, please, talk. Don't ignore me." "Mira, I swear I didn't lie. Just hear me out." I didn't reply. Not yet. Timing mattered. Every second of their panic, every glance of fear, every whispered accusation, they were providing me with everything I needed. I looked out the window, hands clasped, and whispered to myself, they wanted to play clever, but they didn't see me awake. They didn't see me patient. They didn't see me controlling the game. The fire inside me burned steady and quiet. Not anger this time. Focus. Strategy. Precision. The moment of true reckoning was approaching. And when it came, they wouldn't be able to hide. Every lie, every secret, every deceit would be exposed. Not by me, not directly, but by their own actions, and at the perfect time. I leaned back, closing my eyes for a moment, savoring the calm before the storm. Karma was crushing them, slowly, steadily, and I was the unseen force guiding it. "One more step," I whispered. "One more day, and they'll realize too late that the Eli they betrayed is gone. Replaced by someone they can't touch, can't manipulate, can't escape." The city outside glittered innocently, unaware of the quiet storm unfolding within. And I was ready. Ready to watch. Ready to act. Ready to finish what had begun. The tension in the office was almost tangible. I walked through the hallway, observing, noting every glance, every whispered exchange. Aaron's confident stride had slowed. Myra's forced smiles barely reached her eyes. Every misstep, every secret, every hidden detail they had relied on for so long was now laid bare. I passed Aaron's desk. His fingers drummed nervously on the table. "Eli, can we talk, please?" he muttered under his breath, eyes darting around. I stopped, calm, neutral. "Talk?" I echoed softly. "About what?" He swallowed hard. "About everything, about us, about last year. I want to make things right." I shook my head slightly, letting a faint smile touch my lips. "Aaron, it's not that simple. You should have thought about making things right before you betrayed me. Before you lied. Before you destroyed trust." His jaw tightened. I know, but I'm trying now. I'm serious." I leaned back, letting the silence stretch. Observation first, control second. Trying isn't enough, Aaron. Not anymore. You'll need more than words. And you'll need to face consequences, the ones you've already earned. Mira approached then, her expression nervous, almost fragile. "Eli, please, we can fix this together. Don't you want to hear us out?" I looked at her calmly. "Mira, you've had plenty of chances. Plenty of excuses. But now, it's all too late. You've shown who you are. Your actions have consequences." Her eyes widened, panic creeping in. "Consequences?" "Yes. Consequences," I repeated, firm, precise. "And it's not me handing them to you. You've created this, and now you have to live with it." Aaron's face paled. "Eli, wait." No," I interrupted gently but firmly. "I'm done listening to excuses. Observation, patience, timing, that's all I needed. And now, you see the outcome." Their whispers grew louder as other colleagues gathered subtly, glances flickering, curious but cautious. The subtle exposure of their lies, the cracks in their reputations, had drawn attention. And I didn't have to say a single word to make it happen. Myra's voice trembled. "Eli, you can't just watch this happen." "I can," I said softly. "And I will." Calmly. Silently. "You've created the situation, not me." Aaron's shoulders slumped. "It's all falling apart because of us?" "Because of you," I corrected gently. "Because of choices, lies, manipulation. You thought you were clever. You thought I wouldn't notice. But I did. And now, it's breaking you both apart." I watched as the tension between them intensified. Their alliance, built on secrecy and arrogance, was unraveling. Each blaming the other, each trying to deflect responsibility, only widened the cracks. Mira shouted, voice rising. "Aaron. This is your fault. You left evidence. You exposed everything." Aaron shot back, equally loud. "My fault? You're the one who lied, sneaked around, and thought you could manipulate everyone." I remained calm, letting the room fill with their chaos. My parents' voices rang in my memory, shocked, furious, disappointed. Their anger mirrored the collective judgment forming around Mira and Aaron. Karma was unfolding. I noticed a few coworkers whispering, sharing glances. They were noticing too, realizing the story they hadn't seen before, the cracks in the facade Aaron and Mira had maintained. Observation, timing, and subtle action had done their work without me saying anything directly. I leaned against a nearby wall, arms crossed, eyes calm. Lena appeared beside me quietly. "It's intense," she whispered. "I know," I said softly. But it's necessary. They need to face the consequences of their choices. And we stay calm. Focused. Patient. She nodded, biting her lip. You're handling this so differently than before. I've changed, I admitted. I learned. I observed. And now, I have control. Back in the room, Aaron and Mira were now openly arguing. You don't get it. Aaron shouted. I trusted you, and you. You trusted me? Mira interrupted sharply. Ha! You were the one making mistakes. You were careless. And now everything is crumbling. I watched quietly, letting every word sink in, every accusation land. Their arrogance, their false sense of security, had evaporated. The cracks were deep, widening, and unstoppable. Myra's voice grew shrill. We can fix this, we just need Eli to listen. I shook my head slowly. No. This isn't about fixing it. This is about understanding. Understanding that actions have consequences. You can't control the outcome anymore. Not with me. Not with anyone else. Aaron's face was pale, his confidence gone. Eli, please. You should have thought about that before you betrayed me, I said softly, calm, precise. Now, you see the result. The room fell silent, except for the occasional muttered accusation between Mira and Aaron. Their whispers, their panic, their blame, it all played out perfectly, as I had predicted. The first real cracks in their alliance had become chasms. I checked my phone briefly. Texts from both of them, frantic, desperate, pleading. I didn't reply. Not yet. Timing, observation, and patience were my allies. I didn't need to intervene. I only needed to watch. Later, my parents called again. My mother's voice was sharp, demanding. Aaron. Mira. How could you hide this from us? How could you think this was acceptable? It's not what it looks like. Mira cried. Not what it looks like, my father snapped. We trusted you both, and this is how you repay that trust? Aaron tried to explain, voice cracking. It wasn't supposed to. Silence, I whispered to myself. Observation. Timing. Control. By nightfall, I returned to my apartment, Lena already there. She poured tea quietly, watching me. They're broken, she said softly. They're facing the consequences, I corrected. And they have only themselves to blame. She shook her head slowly. You're so calm through all of this. It's frightening. I've learned, I said softly. Anger didn't help me before. Now, patience and precision do. I sat back, hands clasped, watching the city lights. Every lie, every manipulation, every betrayal was unraveling. Myra's reputation was tarnished, Aaron's confidence shattered, their alliance fractured. And I hadn't lifted a finger beyond observation, subtle planning, and timing. One more step, I whispered to myself. One more step, and they'll understand. Not through my words, but through the consequences of their own actions. That's the power they never realized I had. Lena touched my hand softly. Don't forget, you're not just this. You're still you. I know, I said, eyes steady. I'm still me. But now, I'm awake. And they'll learn that the Eli they betrayed is gone. Replaced by someone they can't hurt. Someone they can't control. Someone who observes, waits, and acts at the perfect time. The city below glittered innocently, unaware of the storm I had unleashed silently. Aaron and Mira were breaking, reputations cracking, and the consequences of their lies were finally coming home. I leaned back, calm, collected, letting the night wrap around me. The breaking point had arrived. And I was ready. The moment had arrived. I could feel it in the air, the tension, the fear, the anticipation radiating from them. Aaron and Mira had no idea how carefully I'd orchestrated this. Every detail, every observation, every subtle move had led to this day. They thought they were clever. They thought they had control. I was about to prove them wrong. My phone buzzed first. Aaron, Eli, please. I'll do anything. Just, mercy. Don't destroy me. I stared at the screen, calm. My thumb hovered, then I didn't reply. Timing, observation, control. All of it mattered. I didn't respond. Not yet. Myra's text followed immediately. Eli, don't be cruel. You know I loved you. Don't ruin everything. I smiled faintly. Love? That word didn't apply anymore. Not after everything. Not after betrayal, lies, and arrogance. I ignored her too. Later, they arrived at my apartment, desperate, both of them. Their eyes flicked nervously, scanning the room, trying to anticipate my reaction. Aaron. Mira, sit, I said calmly, gesturing toward the chairs. We need to talk. Aaron sat first, hands clasped tightly, voice trembling. Eli, we're sorry. Truly. Please. I'll do whatever you want. Anything. I let my gaze linger on him for a moment. Do you understand what you've done? He swallowed hard. I betrayed you. I lied. Yes, I interrupted softly, precise. You betrayed me. You lied. And now, you're feeling the consequences. But it's not me punishing you, Aaron. It's life, the truth, your choices. You've built this on lies and arrogance, and it's all falling apart. Slowly. Perfectly. You can't undo it. He flinched, realization dawning. You mean? Yes, I said calmly. I'm awake. I've seen everything. And now? I'm the one they'll beg for mercy from. But mercy is a choice I don't make lightly. Not for you. Not for Mira. Myra's face paled. She spoke quickly, voice shaking. Eli, please. Don't do this. I loved you. I held up a hand, stopping her mid-sentence. Love? That's what you call what you did to me? Betrayal, manipulation, that's what I saw. Not love. So don't speak of it. Not now. Not ever. Aaron tried to interject. Eli, she. Save it, I said sharply. I've heard enough excuses. Observed enough lies. Every word you think will defend you, it's meaningless now. Every glance, every whisper, every secret, exposed. And now you face reality. Myra's eyes filled with tears. Eli. I can change. I can fix this. Please, just give me a chance. I shook my head slowly. Chance? You had your chance. Multiple chances. Every warning, every slip, ignored. You didn't respect me. You didn't respect yourself. And now, I will respect only myself. And control. Observation. Precision. That's all I respect. You wanted mercy? You already squandered it. Aaron's voice broke. Please, we're sorry. Don't ruin everything for us. I'm not ruining anything, I said softly, almost calmly. You did that yourselves. Every lie, every betrayal, every moment you thought you were clever, led here. And now, the only thing left for me to do is watch. Observe. Let the consequences unfold. And perhaps, enjoy the results. Myra's hands shook as she tried to reach toward me. Eli, please. Don't do this. I'm begging you. I stepped back, maintaining distance. You're begging. And that's the point. You thought you could control everything, manipulate everything, deceive everyone. But here you are. At my mercy. And I choose not to intervene. Not to lie. Not to cover for you. You face what you've built. Your downfall is entirely your own doing. Aaron's shoulders slumped. You hate us? I shook my head slowly. Hate? No. I'm awake. I'm aware. I observe. I control. But mercy, you've already taken that from yourselves. I don't need to give it back. Tears streamed down Myra's face. Eli, you're cruel. I smiled faintly. No. I'm precise. Careful. Patient. Observant. Every step, every pause, calculated. You created this. I merely watched. And now, you see the results. The cracks. The exposure. The collapse of everything you thought you controlled. Aaron dropped his head into his hands. We didn't know you'd. You didn't think, I said softly. You didn't care. And now, the universe, life, karma, call it what you want, is showing you what your arrogance, lies, and betrayal have caused. Not me. Not directly. Just truth. Mira sobbed, voice trembling. Please, we can fix this. Please. We'll do anything. I'll leave Aaron. Anything. I leaned back in my chair, calm. You're begging. And begging shows me only one thing, that you finally understand. The Eli you betrayed is gone. Replaced by someone awake, observant, in control. Someone who won't be fooled, manipulated, or hurt again. And someone who won't grant mercy to those who think they can deceive so easily. Aaron's voice cracked further. You're going to destroy us? I shook my head. I'm not destroying anything. You've done that yourselves. I'm simply letting reality take its course. Exposure, judgment, consequences, you've earned every bit of it. And now, you face it fully, finally, utterly. Mira sobbed harder. Eli, please. I can't live like this. You can, I said softly. But it won't be easy. You wanted cleverness, secrecy, manipulation, now you have transparency, exposure, and collapse. And no one to blame but yourselves. Aaron's head fell further. Eli, we're sorry. Truly. Sorry doesn't fix betrayal, I said firmly. Sorry doesn't erase lies. Sorry doesn't undo manipulation. It doesn't bring back the trust you destroyed, the love you squandered, or the years you lost. You have learned, painfully, the consequences of your own choices. Mira whimpered. Please, please. I stood, calm, eyes steady. Please, nothing now. Observe your own actions, understand the results, and accept what comes. Mercy was your choice, and you squandered it. I won't intervene. I will only watch. And you will crumble under the weight of what you built. Silence fell. Heavy. Complete. The weight of their own guilt, fear, and panic filled the room. They realized, fully, utterly, that the Eli they once knew, the one who could be deceived, manipulated, betrayed, was gone. I finally walked to the window, looking out over the city, breathing calmly. Lena's voice echoed in my memory, "You're more than revenge. You're still you." "Yes," I whispered softly. "I am still me. And now, awake, observant, patient, and in control. Not vengeful. Not cruel. But precise. The Eli they betrayed, the one they underestimated, is gone. Replaced by someone they can't manipulate, can't fool, can't escape." I didn't need to look back. I didn't need to gloat. The consequences were already unfolding. The cracks in their lives, the collapse of their reputations, the estrangement from everyone who mattered, they were complete. And I, calm and collected, sat back down. The storm I had orchestrated silently was done. Mercy denied. Karma fulfilled. I closed my eyes, finally letting the tension leave my body. The chapter of betrayal was over. The chapter of awakening, control, and justice had begun.